I'm gonna review a couple things I got at Michael's today. They were having a big Columbus Day sale, so I got just a few things. Some things were just standard, like restocking, so I'm not gonna go through that stuff. But I am going to try out this new Windsor Newton palette, new to me. Um, just a little travel watercolor set. I have this to-go bag that I put all my mixed media stuff in and just try and keep it pretty simple. And this will be perfect to go in there so that it doesn't take up too much space. And then I got these Tim Holtz cling stamps and then this stencil in the background. His stuff is really pricey, just seems kind of outrageous to me. So these went for $17.99 and I got them for half off. So, well, a little more than that because we get an additional 15% off for military discount. So those will be fun. And then I got this is like, I guess the Michael's Recollections brand, which I've never seen these before, that they have the cling stamps and then a set of stencils. So I'm gonna open those up and give everything a try. So I've really never bought these cling stamps from him before. I have some of his stencils and I really like those. Really, there's not a need for me to test them, but I want to have some scraps that I can use on some other projects. I was a little disappointed in the stamps. I feel like I really had to apply a lot of pressure to get them to come out. I know his stuff is supposed to look distressed, but even the words in this quote don't come out completely, which is pretty disappointing. And then I tried it on some watercolor paper. The paper before this was just Bristol board, which is really smooth. And here's copy paper, which that came out pretty much fine, but I don't use copy paper for projects. And these are the Recollections ones, and they actually came out really nice and clean. So that's good to know. I really like how crisp the keys came out and the flowers with the leaves. So I was really happy with those. So I've got a couple different patterns here, and they're different than ones that I've already got, so that's a nice change. And I'm just going to go through and combine them all on one sheet of paper and have a nice little colorful page that I can kind of rip up and tear and use in different projects. They were on the thin side a little bit. I don't really clean my stencils. I just kind of, the paint cakes up and builds up on them. So I think if I did have to scrub some of these, like especially that first one with the filigrees, that might be a little problematic that it's so thin. But otherwise, I'm happy with them. I like that they're bigger than your average 6x6 stencil. So if I put these on my jelly plate, they'll go over the edges, which would be nice. This last sheet I couldn't fit on the other paper, so I'm just testing out these different borders with some fun, bright colors. And I really like these. I think they're kind of funky, and they'll be good to use with artist trading cards, or if I want to frame some words in a painting or a quote to make them stand out a little bit more. I think these will be perfect for that. This is the Winsor Newton Travel Watercolor Palette. It was regularly priced at $30. I got it for about $13. And I love how vibrant the colors are. It also came with this little travel brush that you can fill up the handle with water and kind of squeeze it as you go. And it fits nicely in that little tray there. The one thing I was disappointed with was the lid. When you open it, it doesn't lay flat with the part that has the paints in it. And I'll kind of show you that a little bit later. But overall, I'm really happy with the colors. And yeah, I think it's a great choice. I love the size of it, how it's nice and compact. And I do like that there's a little white cake. My last watercolor palette didn't have that, so that you can kind of lighten some of the colors up and get some nice pastels if you wanted to have like a pink or something. And I'm not really creating anything specific, obviously. At the beginning I said I'm just testing these products, but I'll probably fill in as much as I can so that I have some pieces that I can cut and paste from and use when I'm making art on the go. Or, yesterday morning we were set up at a coffee shop, and it's just nice to have some things that are pre-done so that I can just cut them out and stick them on. So here's more of a close-up of that brush, and you can just kind of pop it and put in that tray there. This is what I'm talking about, that it's uneven when you open it. I didn't realize that. You can't tell from the packaging. One of the other ones, the lid would flip over and then you could kind of slide it out so it would lay flat. So really that's probably my only complaint, because it's a little annoying having it on a slant like that. I tried having something underneath it to prop it up, but each time I would put my brush in the paints, it would kind of wiggle and slide off of what was underneath it. So really I don't think it's going to stop me from buying it, but it might have been the difference between me choosing this one versus the other one that was pretty much the same price point. And as I'm cleaning up, I can put my brush in this little slot here, or if you really want to empty it out, you can pop the top off and drain any extra water, and then you can kind of invert it and stick the top, protect your bristles, pop it shut, and then stick it in there. And then you're good to go. You do kind of have to make sure it's pressed down in the slot there, and then it'll close completely. Now you've got this nice little on-the-go watercolor kit. And since I couldn't really show you completely before since it was wet, here's the side angle so that you can really tell that it's a pretty big difference there. So if that's something that will bother you, it's something to keep in mind. So this is my previous watercolor kit, and I've had this one for a few years now, and I'm really happy with it. I had no reason I'm not replacing it. I was just getting one that's smaller that I can keep in my travel bag with me, and this one will stay at my desk. This kit did come with a really nice magenta bright pink, which is my only other complaint about the Winsor Newton one, is that there's no magenta in there. But to be fair, this kit that I'm testing out right now doesn't have a true red. So, you give some, you take some. I am sure that I could probably go on Dick Blick and find a little replacement cake of pink and switch it out for like the black or the gray, because I don't think I need both of those in there. In size comparison, I like how tiny this travel one is, which is why it's travel. It's about half the size of my previous one, so really makes it ideal to have on the go with me. If we go on a trip, if we go hiking, this will be perfect. So here's my little travel bag, and my other watercolors were too long to fit in here, it just took up a lot of space. So this will be perfect. I've got all these outside pockets, and then I've got 3 bigger compartments in the middle. So I can just leave that in there, and the next time we go somewhere, I'll have it ready. I won't have to grab different things off my desk, and we can hit the road. So here we just have a freeze frame of how that turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.